Aha. Hello everybody. Welcome to another Adam Gibbs adventure. Now, today is an exploratory trip. I've never been to this area before, and I just kind of Googled it last night. I'm just outside of a town, mid-Vancouver Island, called Port Alberni, and there's a couple of waterfalls kind of in the area. This waterfall here is called Weiner Falls. I know it's strange. It's a very strange name. I wonder if the mountain that it's on is called Oscar Myers. Anyway, I have no idea what this place is like. It might be really good, it might not be that great, I don't know. I've just seen a couple of pictures of it. It looks pretty good from the pictures that I've seen. So anyway, it's always fun to come and explore new areas. So this might be a really long vlog, or it might be really short. There's also another waterfall closer to town called I think it's called Tunnel Falls, or Hole in the Wall Falls. And if I have enough time, I'm going to go and check that one out as well. It looks really neat. Anyway, we'll see how we do on this one, and then we'll go from there. All right. What I love about British Columbia. No expense spared when it comes to pointing out natural, beautiful areas in the province. Someone went all out with this sign. It's probably better that way anyway. You get less people here. Oh dear. Right, so trail. I can hear the falls actually. So. It's too bad about all the logging slash that surrounds this area. It's pretty typical of Vancouver Island in general. Pretty much the whole island has been logged out at some point or another. It's just too bad I wasn't alive before that happened. Okay, now nobody said anything about climbing down a steep hill. There's kind of ropes down here, and looks a bit dicey. Anyway, the waterfall looks quite nice, quite pretty. There's a beautiful green pool at the base of it, and of course there's quite a bit of water right now, so yeah, it looks like it might be a good place to photograph. We'll see when I get down there. Just got to climb down this blasted hill. If you don't see this vlog, you'll know where I am. Okay, now as pretty as this falls is, I'm still having a bit of a hard time finding a composition, because I don't just want a picture of the waterfall. Anybody can take a picture of a waterfall. I want something that's a little bit more meaningful. Now the problem I'm having is that you'll notice that there's a couple of trees that kind of block the view of the falls. The most interesting part of the river is kind of over to the left, and of course the further left I go, the more of the falls is blocked by those trees. So I kind of have to make some compromises here. So I've more or less decided that I'm just going to concentrate on the bottom of the falls, and then I want a little bit of movement in the foreground. So we have a bit of a cascade right here, And I'm trying to compose my image in such a way that I've got that in the foreground and then the bottom of the falls with the green pool. Now there isn't much of the green pool showing, but with the polarizer it really enhances those greens. So that's kind of my dilemma. The further right I go, so I get more of the falls, the less interesting the foreground is. The other thing that I'm finding is that my first inclination was to slap on a really wide angle lens like a 14 to 24, but it doesn't really work because the falls, because it's such a wide angle of view, the waterfall is in the background and it looks very small and insignificant. And I want it to be a dominant part of the picture, so I'm using a longer lens. So I'm going to keep playing around with this, and then once I've found a composition, I'll try and go through it with you. Okay, so this is the composition that I have. I'll try and keep it in sharp focus. See, I really wanted a bit of a foreground in here, and the only way to really do that is by getting down low with a long lens. If I get in close with a wide angle, then the waterfall here just it's too far back, and there's too much space in between the foreground and the waterfall that isn't really that interesting. So the most interesting part for me is this section here. Now if I zoom out, you can see that the waterfall up here starts to get blocked by these trees, and a lot of this white water is kind of over to the left. It'd be nice if it was in the center, but of course as soon as I go over to the left, then I get more of this tree blocking the waterfall. So I'm zoomed in just to the bottom there, just where the tree intersects the top of the falls there, like that. I mean, it would be really nice if I could include that as well, but of course as soon as I go over to the left, then you start losing the bottom of the falls here, and then of course if I go up too high, then I lose the foreground. So there's a whole bunch of compromises here. I think this works. It might work really nice as a pano, because the most interesting part for me is definitely this bottom section here. Anyway, that's the composition I have. I'm going to stick with it, and I'll just keep doing some variations on this theme and see what I can come up with. Okay, I've scrambled down the river just a little bit, or the creek, and I found this wonderful foreground. A little cascade makes a perfect foreground. The only problem is that you don't get a clear view of the waterfall. There's a lot of things distracting it, so I'm not sure if it's going to work or not. The foreground's definitely going to work, but having just a hint of the waterfall, the main falls in the background, it may or may not work. I mean, it looks pretty good on the back of the screen. I can kind of show it to you, and then you can judge for yourselves. Okay, so this is the composition that I have. You can see that I have quite a strong foreground here, and then you can just make out the main falls in the background. Now I'm using my 24 to 120. Probably better to have a 14 to 24, but I really don't feel like scrambling back to my pack to get my lens, so I think I'll just make do with what I have. that was worth the price of admission. It's always nice to go to new areas that I haven't been to before. I mean, I have a tendency to go to the same areas over and over again, usually because they're so different every time you go. The light changes, the conditions change. I don't think I've ever been to one area where the conditions have been exactly the same every time. But it's definitely nice to get to a new area. Right, it's almost 4 o'clock, so I think I'm going to leave Hole in the Rock waterfall for now, which is just outside of Port Alberni. So I think I'm going to end the vlog here, because I'd really like to do the next location justice and, you know, get some decent video and drone footage, of course, and photographs. Thanks ever so much again for watching. Be sure to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and if you wouldn't mind sharing these videos, that would be awesome. That really helped me out. Alright, so until next time, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye bye.